How are we doing, ladies and gentlemen? Today, I'm bringing you part 2 of the 1-ton XJ front end. I'm bringing to you here live, well, almost live, from in front of the finished XJ. You'll see this later in the video, and these are pretty sweet. But we'll be finishing it up, putting the front end on, and getting it all set. So, see you later. Alrighty, now I've got the Jeep in the garage, the axle right there, and she's ready. It's now time to get her all jacked up. Alrighty, now since I have it outside, took her for a little walk. I'm gonna start putting this under there, getting her lined up, put the uppers on, put the lowers on, put the springs in, see if I can get it all together. At least together enough that it's sitting there under its own weight again, so I'm not like worrying about those iffy-ish jack stands. Let's see. But it's all looking pretty good. Looking real empty under there now. Pretty cool. Alrighty, got the axle under there, got the upper control arms on, springs on. I'm gonna have to figure out something for the lower control arms. I might be able to bring it out a little bit and change that angle, but it's looking pretty good. It actually looks so sweet with this under there with the truss and everything like that. Looks awesome. So I'm gonna leave it there for now and get back to it at some point. Alrighty, after I put everything together, couldn't get the lower control arms on because the angle is too intense and it's too close for the angle to really line up, like from here to here. That's a real sharp, it's like 35 degrees, 25 degrees. It's not great. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring the axle more this way. It looked like it was too close to the fender anyway for the 6.5 inch lift. So I'm gonna be lengthening these first. And I think the best way to go about it is maybe just turning it like this, taking a screwdriver and just kind of turning the whole thing, because it is locked right up here, but I don't have a wrench that big, so I'll lock it down. I'll lock it down later, but just for kind of sketching everything up, see what we can do. Yeah, loosen this a little bit, loosen that one, bring it up about an inch, maybe 2 inches, see how long it is in here, and see if it'll work. So I'll figure it out. All right, so I tried getting the lowers in. It didn't really fit because of this angle right here. This is a regular bushing. That's a Johnny joint, I think, style bushing. Has the movable center, so it can get all moved around. But this doesn't. And this angle is the one that's not lining up to allow this to go in here. Like when I put the bolt through there instead of there, lines up real nicely. Let me see. Not like that, but it won't let it go all the way across. So what I'm thinking is, since this is already welded, it's already welded on there, and that's how it came stock. What if I do something maybe a little silly, but take a little slice out of here and weld it back on and angle it so it's in farther on both sides, because it's happening on both sides. It's equal. So what if I do that? That might be a little silly, but could work. So I'm gonna give this a try. I'm gonna put these top ones back on and see if I can get the correct angle, because this will allow it to be held in the position I want it to be held. I think this is the proper angle. I put it out on both sides about an inch extra. If you can see right there, it's about an inch farther than it was. So let's give this a try. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna line it all up, see how much of a cut it would need to be, and see how bad it would be to weld this at a different angle. So let's try. And honestly, what's the worst that could happen? Worst that can happen, I ruin these, I need to get long arms. And if I don't do this, I need to get long arms anyway. So might as well give it a try and, you know, we'll see. Alrighty, well, I was able to use my advanced CAD software to make some angles. As you can see, cardboard-aided design. They're the same, you know. I was able to get the same angle on each side, measured it up, gave the same result. So it looks equal. So here's the thing. Got these both marked up. Kind of hard to see, but there's Sharpie mark up there and up there. with this same angle. I'm going to end up cutting it with this angle grinder and welding it back together. What I did was have a mark all the way across straight here and all the way up to here at this center point. At this angle, the center point's about here, and it's just gonna fold over like this. And I made sure that they're both pointing towards the center because both bushings need to be a little bit turned to the center. So yeah, just gonna be a little bit cutting, a little bit of welding, and hopefully it fits nicely. This is gonna take a bit of work, but I think this, overall, it's already looking huge and sweet. This is going to turn out awesome if this works. And if not, I have to get the long arms anyway, so I'll get those. But I was looking at these welds on here, and they're not like great. Like here, they look like they almost missed the entire thing. They just kind of welded more on this. And then here, it's like there's porous and they're kind of meh welds. I don't know. I think my welds are probably going to be stronger than this, so not too worried. All right, well, I'll get to it. Bring it back when it's cut at least, or maybe even welded. So we'll see. Alrighty, well, I've got the cross cut done. It's all the way across, pretty level. And what it's going to allow me to do, when I eventually do it, is bring the whole thing in. So I'm going to cut this angle right here, maybe a little bit shorter, because eventually I can be able to grind it down. I don't want to cut too much and have not enough material. You can always add material, or you can always take away material, can't add more. So that's what I'm gonna do. And yeah, it's looking pretty good right now. I'm gonna keep going with it. Alrighty, the rest of the V-cut's done, and it's time to just pry it out. All I can find was a little screwdriver, so that's what we're gonna use to pry it out. Alrighty, cut the slit, got the piece out, cut relief part, little clip relief. Cut right there and bent it in with a hammer, and it's looking pretty good. It's looking about that angle that I need. Where's that cardboard? Here we go. It looks to be about that angle. Might need a little bit more, but I can always take off more, you know. It's not too far off. And yeah. So I'm gonna leave it at this right now, give it a test run, put it in there, see if it fits. If I need to take off more, I can cut off more. I can put another cut in here, squish it in a little bit more, and then make them equal. So, yeah, that's the plan. Ladies and gentlemen, we've done it. It finally fits together. It's not finished yet. It still needs to be welded here, but the control arms are finally in. And holy cow, that took way too long. Oh my gosh. But I finally got it all in. And it's looking pretty good. This angle is, I think, the angle I need to run it at. It's just about straight up and down, maybe a little bit forward, but I'm not even worried. This looks pretty freaking sweet. And yeah, if I ever need to adjust the angle, I just use these rear adjustment screws back here, which allow it to move back that way. But they're both equal. Now it just needs to be welded back together. And look at this freaking thing. Woo-wee. It looks crazy under there. I'm so excited. Now I just got to weld this and figure out how I'm going to get these springs in there. That's going to be a little bit of a pain. Here's the spring right now. And it looks like it's going to be quite a bit of a drop to get it in there. But I'm not too worried about it. It needs to be dropped about another 4 to 6 inches to get it in, but that's not too much of a problem. But for now, I'm just going to get to welding. So let's see how that goes. I have to make sure all the brake fluid is away from it, and so it doesn't catch on fire, because there has been leaking brake fluid for the past 2 days. So other than that, let's get started. Alrighty. Got one side welded together. I mean, the welds turned out pretty nice. No, I don't have to look at the other ones, but you know, a little sloppy there. But over here is real nice. It's real pretty. And yeah, it's ready to go in. I mean, this side's pretty good. I think it'll hold. I might go over another layer of weld on everything, you know, make a real big one. But don't want it to interfere with the casing, so this might have to do, but it doesn't look that bad. And it looks better than the welds that were on there, so you know what? A win's a win. Take what I can get. All right, let's go start on the other side. So what I ended up doing was cladding on top of it, and it's looking pretty good. Real pretty welds on top, and I think that'll hold just fine. It's looking great. These welds over here are real nice, and everything. It's all gonna need a little bit of paint, but you know, yeah. All right, time to start on the second side. It's looking awesome. Well, alrighty. Got both lowers on. Oh, you can't even see them in that, but got both lowers on, fully welded, looking sweet, real spiffy, and yeah, now I'm gonna give it a try, lowering it down so I can try and get those springs in. So, let's see, I'm gonna get this on video in case anything goes interesting. Lower it down, real slow like, hopefully. Wow, it actually held by the freaking things. Holy cow. Oh, wait. That's what that is. It's that block. What? But that means, yeah, looking pretty sweet. Look at that flex. All held up by my welds. Freaking sweet, man. All right, let's see. Is that enough to get the spring in there? Nope, it's gonna be a bit. We got a while before we can get that spring in, but let's see if this slowing down a little bit more will let it in. All right, it's going down. Nice and smooth. We having any kinks anywhere? No, that looks all good there. This is looking pretty good over here. Still moving all nicely, as it should. Alrighty, let's keep letting her down. I'm not hearing anything too angry yet. Except for this track bar. I think that should be pretty much it. Alrighty, after a little bit of fiddling, it's all in. And holy cow, this thing looks insane. With all the control arms attaching it and the springs all in and everything. Holy cow. This is crazy. This is gonna be the most insane build ever. Craziness. All right, well, I guess next is to bolt the control arms on. I just have them on, all sitting there. With the bolts just in, and the nuts need to go on, but yeah, looking all good so far. Let's keep it up. Gotta put in the... Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, she is held up by her own weight of the axle. This jack in the middle, not even doing nothing. I'm gonna keep it like there, but still, holy cow. This thing looks insane. 6.5 inches lift all around. 1 ton of axles. Needs the brakes done and a little bit of steering done, but it is crazy. This thing is mental. And those are only 36s. I want to go up to at least 38s, maybe 40s. This is crazy. Absolute insanity. We're getting close to the end. Hopefully the end of this part of it. But I gotta get this done. And this one is from, I think, some sort of G van. It should apparently bolt right in there. Straight bolt up. A few people online said that you have to change out some of the cylinders or rods or something like that, but I was told you don't really have to for this amount of braking. It's not a heavy Jeep. They're like a quarter of the weight that one of those pickup trucks is that are normally stopping, so not really too worried. But yeah, and I need to get those on there after this is turned down. But this thing's gonna look sweet. Alrighty. Another day, another time to work on the Jeep. Time to try and get these rotors off so I can get them ground down and shortened down. I'm gonna start with some WD-40 just in each of the left stud holes. Try and get at least a little bit of lubrication in there. And I don't know, just hope it comes off. Alrighty, heating the whole thing up with a torch. Make it real nice and toasty so I can get it off, hopefully fairly easy. We'll see though. Alrighty, I'm taking a break from these rotors because I've been beating for a half hour and it hasn't moved a bit. So I'm gonna start working on this because maybe I can do the rotors later and figure that out. But I'm gonna start on this, replace this with the bigger one I have right here. And yeah, I just got them loose. I was luckily able to crack them without completely shredding all the bolts. So too bad of a process. It was a 12mm for these. And I think that's the only thing attaching this. It's these two lines and then these two big threads right here. These two big bolts. And it has this carrier under here, so I'm gonna have to take it all out and maybe replace it. I don't think there's a gasket. I think it's just the O-ring right here. So I don't really have to do too much. It's just quick and easy, drop in and drop out. So yeah, hopefully that's it. All right, got it unbolted, mostly. Now it's just time to pull the baby out. It'll come out eventually, hopefully. Looks like it's at least starting. All right, maybe a little bit back and then over these tubes, but yeah, pretty cool. This is the little plunger that goes into this that causes the brake pressure. So that's what it does. Yeah. So here's what I'm seeing. That's the one that came out of the Jeep. And that's the one that's about to go in. I mean, they look fairly similar in this sense right here. And in this sense right here, the tubes are very similar. But, I mean, diameters look the same. And I was told they just slide right in. And it might just work. I'm not too sure, but we'll see. So if it doesn't work, I just put that one back in or get a new one. Not too worried. But yeah, should be all right. Alrighty, got that puppy in. This one didn't really go over because it's a little wider, so I just put the other bolt on the other side, but both of those are pretty much on. I just gotta tighten these little puppies up and she should be all set. Hoping this works as it should. And I mean, it looks fine. It doesn't look like it's out of place. The gasket looks like it's sealed. So yeah. Finally, got one of them off. After like 20 minutes of beating the absolute piss out of this thing, I finally got it off. And holy cow, that was a pain in the butt. But it's off. Finally. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start heating the absolute shit out of the other side and beat the shit out of it too. Take them and get them machined down, all that kind of stuff. And I'll clean these up before I put those back on. But holy cow, that was a pain in the butt. Whew. Finally got it off though. And alrighty, this is what I'm doing to heat it up. Just slowly working it around, spinning around with the torch on there. It's all heating up fairly nicely. I'm gonna put some more WD-40 on it in a minute. And just let it soak in heat. Alrighty, well the second one came off a little bit easier. I heated it for a lot longer and that seems working. A lot of even heating and then tapping all around. Finally just tapped it from the back. Came off pretty solid. So got them both off. Now it's time to take them to the shop and machine down by quite a bit. So we'll see how it goes.
There you go. Now what you're cooking.
Ladies and gentlemen, the brakes are on. Ish. These are
I was able to do something by using the old rotors from the rear axle, and just put them on here. They fit perfectly. They spin. Oh, they're a little like that because they're not tightened on, but when they're tight, they'll be perfect. It's on both sides. All the cables and plumbing, that's all hooked up. And this thing's looking crazy. Those rotors are huge, and the calipers are even massive, even more big. This is crazy. And now it's time, I think, to get the tires on and then start on this tie rod. Or the thing that the steering rod. Whatever this is. It's one of the last finishing touches on the steering system before this can actually go for like a little bit of a test drive, a little bit around town. But yeah, it's pretty sweet. Let's keep it going. This is awesome.
Alrighty, guys. I know I'm keeping you all from the reveal, but I have one last part to do, so you get it after that. I gotta get this connected to that using some connectors. I have to weld an adapter together and all that kind of stuff. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use some cardboard A design, draw up where the threads are, where it intersects, and kind of make it so I can do an alignment on this thing and actually make it nice. So yeah, so what I'm gonna do is cut one of the old ones from here in half, cut one of the ones from here in half, and just kind of weld them together. It's gonna be pretty sweet. Alrighty, so it looks like these threads go the same way. So what I'm gonna try and do is do something where I bring it all the way back that way, and then kind of bring it in this way. And so maybe it'll meet somewhere in the middle, and it'll be all right. That's the goal. See if it fits right, and maybe even steers. But that stinks. That was what I was kind of banking on for this. So either I maybe switch this out for a different thread, but I don't know. That sucks. We'll figure something out though. Alrighty, ladies and gents, she's on there. Not the prettiest of welds, but they're thick and they're solid. So now it's time to clamp her up, and yeah, it's about equal on both sides. Inch and a half in on each, so not bad. It's gonna be pretty sweet. Clamp her up and see if she actually steers. Definitely give her a little stress test, and then yeah, hopefully she'll be good. Pretty sweet. Alrighty, it's up in there, looking pretty solid. Needs a little bit of a paint job, but not too bad. I was not able to do any of this alignment because it is so solid frozen stuff that I'm going to need a torch for another hour. And I'm not feeling like that tonight. So that's going to be at a later date. I might take it to a shop, get them to do it. Because somewhere that specializes in trucks will definitely be able to do that part. Otherwise, everything looks great. Steering steered. Was able to turn the car. Brakes are in. So let's put some brake fluid in there and I guess test out these brakes. Holy cow, I might be able to actually move this thing. Crazy. After I tighten this up, of course. All that back there, all the bars and stuff like that. I might put the shocks on first before I really move it, but yeah, not too bad. Pretty sweet.
Alright guys, after a little bit of time, brakes are all bled. Pretty solid. Not too bad. And it's time. Not for alignment, yeah, I have to go take it to a shop for that. But, ready for the reveal? Actually, you know what? I'll make you all wait. I'm gonna do it outside. Alrighty, made it to the reveal. It's pretty sweet, right?
So this is my 1-ton XJ. It is pretty freaking awesome. I've had it on the road for a few weeks now. Got 38s on her. Got the new shocks in. Got sway bars. All the fancy stuff. That first clip, didn't really have those in there, but made some adjustments over time. And it is awesome looking. Put these pretty freaking sweet bullhorns at the front. They're badass. And the 38s, this thing is a monster everywhere it goes. It's got the 38-inch Super Swampers, 16.5-inch American Racing rims, lockers up front, and yeah, it has everything. The thing's an absolute beast, an absolute unit. Taken it to a show or two so far, and it's fun. I was able to finish up the rear end. Don't look there, because I'm still doing the rear brakes, but they're all hosed off right now. Got rear shock in, and yeah, thing runs, drives, and it's currently on the road. So I was able to actually, since it's been on the road for a little while, I changed out that whole setup for a new one. That's a brand new drop kit. I don't know how it's already got a little rusty, but it's all brand new. And it's the right stuff. So everything's real nice on it now. Got the alignment done, and everything actually drives like before it was even lifted or anything like that. Has a little bit of trouble with higher speeds, but just needs the tires balanced, and should be a highway vehicle once again. Thank you everyone for watching. This has been Mason with Mace Case 3000. This is my 1-ton XJ. Thing has been an absolute beast, an absolutely fun project. Later on, I'm planning on an engine swap. So follow along. Watch it. Love it. This thing is going to be an absolute monster. It already is, but the V8, trust me, it's going to get even better. Like, subscribe, comment, tell me what you think of it. Give me suggestions. I want to know what you guys want me to do this thing, because it's so much fun. Just need some ideas. Let me know. Thank you everyone for watching. This has been Mace Case 3000. Have a good one.